Hi guys, now that you're pros on physical and chemical properties, we're going to talk about physical and chemical changes. So the difference here is because you see the word change, something is actually happening. It's not just sitting there, we're actually going to do something. So you can physically change something when you change the intermolecular forces. This is a word from last unit. Remember we abbreviated that IMF if you want to save yourself a little writing. And these IMF hold the atoms a certain distance from each other, and we would change that. So for example, if I had a liquid in a container, remember the molecules are kind of touching, and then I turned it into a gas, there's still some IMF there, but instead of the molecules being held really closely together in that liquid, they're just a little bit farther apart in the gas. The chemical formula of the whole thing stays the same though. So if this was liquid water, H2O, when it becomes a gas, it's still H2O, it's just those molecules have floated farther apart because the IMF have changed. A chemical change is a little bit different. A chemical change is when the sample turns into something completely new. If I started with water, it's not water anymore at all. So, the way that you're going to know if that happens is by looking for the farts. There are 5 signs of chemical change, which you're going to abbreviate farts. I know it's a weird word, but it'll help you remember, I swear. So the F stands for fizz. If you see fizz or bubbles, then you have a chemical change. A for aroma, which means if that thing smells. Rainbow means if you have any sort of color change. Temperature change, if all of a sudden you have a sample and it gets really, really hot all by itself, then you've got a temperature change. And lastly, for substance, if you have a new substance that's suddenly created, if I had 2 liquids together and it turned into a solid, that's a new substance. So if you see any of these, maybe if you can only see one, any of them, then that is a chemical change. So what I want you to do is think about the examples on the bottom of the page and try to go through. If you see one of the farts, then that's a chemical change. If not, it's physical. So you try, and then I'll put the answers up and we'll compare. Alright, let's see how you did. Here are the answers. If there's any that you're unsure of or something you want to double check, something you don't understand, just come on over and ask your teacher.